to our very first official episode of Engaged in Chaos.
It's a long time coming.
Yes, for sure. I've been planning to have some sort of show. I think my first notes in my laptop are like from November of 2023. Business and life have a way of getting in the middle of things.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah. So I thought we'd spend the first little bit of us chit-chatting about ourselves, what we do, what we're about, what the show's going to be about, and kind of take things from there and go over our first little mini topic.
Sounds fun. So let's start this off with what do we do, actually?
Yeah, so we're a wedding photography company. And I personally have been in the wedding industry and the photography business for over 8 years now. We started all the way back in 2017. Is when I first kind of like got into the industry and started shooting. I got my degree, my associate's degree in photography, and continued on. I started out kind of just shooting a little bit of everything kind of here and there. And then a friend of mine asked me to work their wedding for him and like help them out. So I assisted that photographer. And it was just something about hanging out with everybody and being a part of things that I had never seen on a wedding day before that was literally the coolest thing ever. And it really made me fall in love with weddings as a whole. And then COVID hit. Everybody kind of had to stay home for a hot minute.
Yeah, there's a lot of downsides when it came to the wedding industry. When you're doing weddings by Zoom at certain points, I saw that a few times.
I saw that. I never partook and was like part of those. I did do like a little mini wedding thing. Where we had a venue, it had to be like 8 people or less, and we shot like this little elopement at one of the venues because everybody was closed down. Nobody could quite literally do anything. So yeah, we kind of rebranded everything after COVID hit and everybody started recovering in 2021, and decided to go full force and full time and just kind of pursue my dream full time. Yeah. And here we are. It's worked out beautifully.
So a little pushing. An encouragement for me.
Yes. I was super scared. I'm a bit of a perfectionist. Okay, so like, no, maybe just a little. It's not like we've recorded this episode 3 or 4 times now.
Just 3 or 4 or 5.
All right.
There's a lot of edits. That's cool. It happens.
It's a learning experience today. We're doing it though. We're here. We might talk to ourselves a little bit.
Yes.
And to each other. That's okay. I don't mind talking to you.
The first few episodes, we might not. Yeah, that's fine.
Absolutely.
So then we started working together about a little over a year and a half ago.
Yeah, I got busy. It's the most amazing team that works with me. But he got super busy too. And I wanted him to pursue his business freely. And I was like, I need help. I'm going to have to train somebody else. I'm like, why can't I just train you?
Yeah, exactly.
I live with you. I love you. I'll work with you all day long.
I was a bit nervous at first, but, once I got in there, it's really exciting. It's really fun.
Yeah, so, like, tell the good people what made you want to change professions or pursue something new?
Not necessarily. It was just your encouragement and you saying that, hey, I need some help. So then it started off as I'll just try it out. We'll do one, see what happens. And we went down a really good time. It was a lot of fun. And, yes, it's one of my favorite parts is the trip after the wedding on the way home or to the hotel. And we just nonstop,
rant the whole time. Yeah. And things that happen.
All the weird things, all the strange or unusual things that happen. Yes, but it's been a really fun experience, and it's really gratifying too. It's to see the responses or the replies from our customers. It's really, the brides and grooms have been amazing. It's been fun.
Yes, and it's, for me personally, like, if you shoot solo a lot, like, when you're trying to pose, or like have a prompt or explain to a couple like what you're wanting them to do, it makes it so much easier to have him with me because I can just be like, here, and like put his arms around me, like, you're gonna look at each other like this to do this and move around that way.
I already know most of the time.
He knows what I'm thinking.
Yeah, the cue, she looks at me and goes, hey, come here for a second, I'm pretty sure, okay, it's gonna be either this pose or this one. I can kind of gauge and, find out it's fun.
Yeah, I get into it. I'm not like, because I feel like I'm manhandling other people if I try to physically, like, maneuver someone and, like, you just got married. I don't want anything. I don't want to make a weird or awkward situation.
Some people don't really like to be touched. You have to ask them.
I'm one of those people. I'm one of those people.
Always ask, too, of course.
Yeah, so instead of like feeling like I have to do you mind if I move? Do you mind if I physically like move your hand or something? This is what I want you to do. See how my hands do this? This is what I want. Makes things very much or a lot easier.
We did. So why are we starting this podcast? That should be the next one.
Yeah. So the reason we're starting the show is I really feel like right now, and honestly over the last year or two, there is a growing gap in the industry between us vendors in the industry and the clients we're serving. So our engaged couples, there are a ton of questions, whether it be about pricing or why we do what we do. They don't fully understand that. I feel like the wedding industry can gatekeep stuff sometimes, and that's something I really want to change. I want us to try to bridge that gap in communication and be open and transparent about what we do, whether it be our services. We're going to be interviewing a ton of different people. I have a mental health professional, videographers, planners, venues. I have all kinds of different things lined up for us. And I just think it's so important for us to bridge that gap of communication so that we are working efficiently, get everybody on the same page and in the same book, if that makes sense. So we're going to talk about a lot of hard topics, a lot of things, whether, again, that be pricing or the way that we work on a wedding day or how we plan things or what the suggestions we make and the reasoning behind that.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you. Sure.
But at the same time, we also want to hear from all of you guys listening to us.
Yes, absolutely. Feedback would be amazing. We could get some questions, some concerns, some kind of, some type of feedback would be great.
Yeah, because we want to share your story too. We want to give more than we take.
Yes.
So we have a what? Oh, we want to.
I can't wait for that compilation.
Oh my gosh, I know.
I have like 20 of those edits with you going bleh. That's the one of me now too. So yeah, put that one in.
Now you made me lose my thought, man. That's what I was gonna say. Is that we really want to hear from you guys listening, whether you're a vendor or you're an engaged couple or you've already gotten married and something happened. Instagram, it's called Engaged in Chaos. There's already a drop form link there. You can touch that and fill that whole form out. It lets you pick whether you're casually listing, if you're a vendor or you're an engaged couple and you want to share a story with us. But there's different things you can answer in there, whether it be you want advice from us, you have a question for us, you want to share a story, whether it be good, bad, or indifferent. And there's also a fun little question at the bottom that I hope gets more traction than anything is sharing vendors who really did an amazing job on your wedding day. Because we want to highlight the things that people are doing well just as much as we want to talk about the things that aren't going well.
Because you don't want to really dwell on the negative too much. We want to make this a positive thing.
Absolutely. I think we have so much negativity just kind of thrown in our faces in society that it's easy to take on that mindset as our own. And so I want us to try to be as positive and uplifting and upbuilding as possible on the show. If when we talk about hard topics, I want us to be solution focused so that we're going, okay, this is the problem, this is why it's happening, and this is how it can be avoided. We want to do the same thing with everyone's stories and examples, that kind of thing.
So, to get into our first topic, what to ask when booking your wedding photographer?
Yeah, so first and foremost, please interview them.
Yes.
Just like on our side, we're interviewing you too to make sure we're a good fit, but you're interviewing to hire us. Like you're interviewing for a job. You're interviewing us for a job. So take that seriously. I don't recommend just going into it like via email, be like, hey, here's your pricing. Okay, I want to book. I think really getting to know who you're working with is extremely important.
Absolutely.
So, like, me, I'm very forward with my pricing. So, say I get an inquiry in, I'm immediately sending them my booking guide. Pricing 9 times out of 10 is, like, the biggest thing a couple's wanting to know first. My For You page right now is, like, full of brides being like, do I have to tell you my entire love story just to know how much you charge to take some photos? And I totally resonate with that. So you send me an inquiry. I'm sending you straight back my wedding guide. I'm sending you my booking guide and going, hey, here's my pricing. Here's what it's like to work with me. Here's some of the things that, we can go over and we'll go over. And if all of this looks good to you, next steps are going to be reach out and we'll plan a phone call, a FaceTime, or if you're local, like we can even meet up in person. I'll buy you coffee. If they're not willing to meet with you, or talk to you on the phone or anything, don't do it. And also just to backtrack for a half a second, when you are inquiring with your wedding photographer and like you're on their website and you see their form, fill that out as best you can. A lot of inquiries since we're down here on the Gulf Coast. I get a lot of inquiries for the beach, for like beach weddings. Within an hour time span, there's 40 different beaches we can go to. And sometimes I just get like a wedding date and then the beach.
Just the beach? Just in general?
Just beach.
Okay.
Just the beach.
Well.
I'm like, I love you so much. I would love to work with you, but I need to know specifically what area.
Are we at the marina?
Yeah, so like, give us a venue, at least a city or the name. Something like, be specific in it. Be upfront about your budget. If there happens to not be pricing on that person's website, I have my starting price on my website, and it's like right up in my inquiry form too. So when you go through that, you answer those questions. It helps us immediately know how to serve you better.
Absolutely, yes, definitely.
Secondly, make sure you're looking at a full client gallery. So we use our Instagrams predominantly like as a easy portfolio, so to speak. But that's not always the case. Like, we put our best work up on Instagram, right?
Sure.
That's sort of like, these are the moments in that.
The trials and tribulations
of hotel rooms.
A dark venue, right. Like a cave.
Groomsmen rooms, or like the groom's getting ready room in a lot of our venues here locally, are so dark. Like, they're rustic. They're such a vibe. Yeah. But like, you have to have your flash in there, and it's really, it makes people uncomfortable, like buttoning their shirt or like putting a tie on, exactly. And you're just a light bulb just flashing off on you.
Blasting them, yeah.
Absolutely. So, what were we even saying? Oh, see a full client gallery. That's where I was going with that. I squirreled.
That's okay though.
But yeah, so there's a lot of different lighting situations during a wedding day. You're in a hotel room or a room at the venue that has different lighting than like the ceremony area. To when you're taking portraits, if that's at golden hour outside. What do you do if it rains? Like, there's all kinds of things.
You have to pivot.
Yes.
Part of the chaos.
Yes. So it's really important to see what a full gallery looks like. Like, if I get an inquiry in and it's for a beach wedding, I'm going to send you I'm going to send you a few beach wedding galleries that I've done.
As opposed to, a photo shoot at a waterfall. Middle of the mountains.
Right. So if you got married in a garden and you're getting married in this inquiry is for the beach, I'm not going to send you that because that's going to be the coloring's going to be different comparatively.
So you want to go to the backup plan if something happens to you or your camera? So this would be for our photographers out there.
Yeah.
I mean, let's expect that.
Yeah. So another thing to make sure that you're asking everybody or asking your potential photographer is what are their backup plans? What happens? Do you have something to cover your camera if it rains? Do you have backup equipment if it glitches? What happens if you personally can't be there? Like, there's a lot of ins and outs.
How many batteries do you have?
Yes. I literally last Saturday at the wedding I was helping my friend out on, my battery in the middle of the reception was just like, no, we're charged. We don't want to work. And I'm like, all right, well, give me just a second.
Technology can be fun sometimes. It can be great.
Until it's not.
And it can not be great.
Yeah, it's great until it fails. So yeah, us personally, I each have my main equipment. He has his main equipment, and then we have a backup camera that comes with us as well.
Just in case.
Just in case. Also, I shoot on a dual card slot, so just in case, like, knock on wood, I've never had anything corrupt like that. It makes me scared even saying it. I shoot on 2 cards just in case. So, like, there's dual copies of everything. The minute I get back here, I'm taking your card and my card, and I'm backing them up to 2 different hard drives. And then I save all of that well after I've finished the final gallery and sent it out to the clients, just in case. Just in case. Then I'll, like, wipe that card and reset for another one.
And you have some out there that they don't have any backups, and they overwrite the same card several times, and then just
the more
by the seat of their pants.
Yeah, the more you card, the more chances it has to corrupt, technically speaking. But also, if you invest in a high enough quality card, you can rewrite them for like 3 years, and it's totally fine. So it just depends on like the tech you're using. Also, have a contract that's itemized. When you book with us, my contract is super itemized out. There's an invoice in the beginning. It tells you exactly how many hours, what the add-ons are, what our start time is, what the exact address is. Like, I want all of that well in advance. Now, granted, things can change. I've had venues change, like a few months after. Venues change a few months after, or like there's been a date, their wedding date changed to another date, that kind of thing. So as long as I'm available, I have no problem like reworking that contract and stuff, but I have everything itemized out in advance. You know exactly when you're going to get your photos from me, what that range is, what that date is, and so on and so forth. So just make sure things are itemized out and that they have a contract and they tell you all these things. The other thing that I like to say is ask your photographer what their preferred way of communication is and tell me or your photographer what your best way to communicate with you is. Because me, I'm an email and text person all day long. I check my emails 15,000 times a day.
Bless you. You're one of the old. I guess you're not one of them, but yes.
You don't even. You might as well not even have an email, man. Just don't use it.
No, it's mostly just for receipts.
And I'm the one that needs the receipts. So
true.
Oh yeah, I'm an email and text person. Some people are call people. They want to talk to you on the phone. Because I'm so busy, I do calls by appointment, so it makes it easier for me. I'm happy to talk to you all day long. I'll meet you in person. We can have coffee. I'm easy peasy on that end. But in just like the day-to-day things, if you need me, text me or email me, and I'll get back to you so much quicker than if you try to call me and leave me a voicemail and want me to call you back.
I just want to state that these initial phone calls, these initial communications to set up everything, as far as your wedding goes, they are extremely important. For us to get those details and that understanding from you is really important. So, if at all possible, try to be flexible as well, because we've had a couple of interactions with people where they're not very flexible as far as those windows where we can't communicate with them, and it just becomes a little more difficult to get that process put together. Just know that flexibility.
Oh, you mean like rescheduling calls and stuff?
Or just calls in general.
Or just setting it up?
Just setting up some calls.
Absolutely.
If your window is Saturday from 8:30 a.m. to 9:15 a.m. and that's all you're available for.
Yeah.
For this next 3 weeks kind of deal, it makes it difficult.
Yeah.
That's an extreme example, but
no, that's another example of like how there's kind of a disconnect because we both know that most people work Monday through Friday during the week and they're off on the weekends. Well, we predominantly work on the weekends. So that's how sometimes can be a scheduling issue in regards to that it helps if you're like, hey, can we schedule this or like on a lunch break or something. No, I'm not one of those photographers that's going to keep you on the phone for an hour just to chit chat. Definitely not.
No, but some details have to be worked out,
right.
Whether that is in a face-to-face meeting or FaceTime or just any type of communication.
Yeah. And remember, at this point, when you do get on a call with me, you already know my pricing. You already know what services you want from me because you've gotten all of that stuff in a booklet. Like, you got to look over that with you, your family, your fiance, everything in between before you're even like, hey, let's hop on a call now. I want to book you for this service. Right. And then I get on a call. The reason why I say that, though, and why we're talking about this is because the vibe, you're going to giggle at me for this, but the vibe is so important. Like, our personalities have to match.
That's true.
Like, and you're not going to fit 100% with everybody. That's our job, to kind of work with you and make us kind of fit what you're looking for. Yeah. At the same time, our style has to work. Like, you have to like our photographic style. And then when you meet us and you talk to us on the phone, like, you'll find out I'm known as the dancing photographer. So, like, I want to be as involved in your wedding as you want me to be.
We're your hype man.
I say we're your advocate and we're your defenders too. Like, I'm here to help you up. I'm your cheerleader. If you pick your wedding dress out and you want to talk to me about it, you want to show the photo to somebody because you're keeping it a secret to anybody else, girl, send me that photo. I want to be so excited and I'll jump up and down with you. Like, I'm your wedding bestie. That's what I want to be. Now there's other photographers out there that like they're more about the art than anything, and so like they're here to give you amazing shots, let you run your wedding. They want to stay in the back and kind of be on the sidelines, and that fits some people.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely not. That's just not us personally. You know what I mean?
Yes, that's just the difference.
Yeah,
but it's okay. Difference isn't bad.
Right. So if you're looking for someone who does want to be completely on the sidelines and just kind of like a complete candid documentary, that's not us, and that's okay. But if you want somebody involved and to be like your bestie for the day and this engagement journey you're on, then we're definitely a good fit. But you don't know that till you hop on a call with somebody. Outside of just reading what you see in the booklet or like what you see on their website, like how else do you know who they are and who you're booking? So it's really important to make sure you guys, our personalities mesh well, and like whoever you're interviewing gets along really well. As you are going to be spending a whole lot of time with your photographer during that day.
At minimum 6 hours?
At minimum.
At minimum 6 hours? And that's not counting all of the other, whether it's an engagement session or whether it's the rehearsal dinner.
That's why a lot of our curated collections actually include engagement sessions, because if we don't meet up in person when you're booking with us, I want to try to meet you at some point. We do get a lot of destinations. I do a lot of destination weddings where we're at, people from everywhere fly in here, so it's kind of hard, but we do end up trying to do FaceTimes or a Zoom meeting or something like that just to touch base. And we always have our 1 month pre-planning call where I help you guys build your timeline and that whole thing. Yes, we need to know how the day is going to go. How will that day go? It's a great question.
Is mom cool? Or is mom...
We're going to talk about a lot of that later on in our episode lineup, because I asked a question to my Instagram audience like a week or so ago about how, like, what is your biggest wedding day struggles? What were your biggest wedding day struggles? What made it stressful? And I had photographers and like past brides and other people alike. And nine times out of 10, again, it was family. There was some sort of things with the family on both sides. So we're going to go a lot more in depth.
Yeah, we'll tackle those at a different time.
At a later date. Another thing I think is important for you guys to ask when you're looking at your photographer or looking at booking your photographer is how many I get this a lot. How many images will I get? Because that's not something I put a number on. And here's why. Every wedding day is so different. And so, like, say you book us for 8 hours, you're going to get 2 shooters. You may have 2 bridesmaids, 2 groomsmen. There might be 50 guests there. It's a very chill, easygoing day. You're going to have less photos than somebody who also booked the same collection with us in 8 hours, 2 shooters, same thing. But they had 8 or 9 bridesmaids on each side. They have 200 people there. They have photo booths, and they have a champagne tower, or they have first look compared to someone who doesn't do a first look, that kind of thing. So there's so many different aspects of a wedding day that'll add photos or add moments to your gallery. But if you don't have those, you're not going to end up with those images.
We can only cover what
you give us.
It's there.
Right. So yeah, it really just comes down to what activities and how many activities do you have going on in your day. I'll put a number and guarantee you 800 photos for an 8-hour wedding day and end up with like 750 and then have to go find another 50 images to meet a quota. I want your gallery to be organic and authentic to you guys. So if I'm over here like trying to crop images down in detail or make some extra black and whites, I feel like that's a little unnecessary.
If the story is told within the said allotment of photos that you've curated, then that's the vision.
Images for a final gallery, there could be 700. It really just depends on how the day goes.
We could throw 20 pictures of the father-daughter dance in there. We could, but you know, with the 5 that we did put in there are probably what you really are looking for. I mean, we could put 20 images of the father's speech, but he's just standing there.
Standing talking. Yeah, so it's like as long as we've captured what we need to, and it also depends too. And you mentioned first dances. I've seen so many people this year cut the first dances in half. So like instead of playing a 4-minute song or a 3-minute song the full way through for like the first dance of the couple and the father-daughter or like the mother-son dance, they are doing like a minute to a minute and a half of each one. Yeah. So that's another thing. Like it's all so flexible. It's all flexible, and I don't want to put a number on something and have to meet a quota just for the sake of meeting a quota that I told you. And the last biggest point that I really wanted to go over and touch on this very first episode of ours is how much editing are we willing to do? That specifically, but the photographer you're interviewing. Because, like me personally, if you have like acne on your face or something, if you have a blemish, I have no problem taking that out because it's not naturally there.
Right. Yes.
It's not supposed to be there.
Most of it. So I had a groomsman. Actually, I had a groom that he had some razor bumps on his neck and was really concerned about it. Really, had some apprehensions and was a little, I guess.
He was trying to hide it. Yeah, he was self-conscious about it, so he was like doing more.
He was trying to pose where he could hide that, and I just had to let him know. We normally.
We'll take it out. Don't worry about it.
This is not something we want to say very often. Don't worry about it. We can take it out.
Yeah, we'll take that out after.
You don't want to promise the moon.
Right.
But sometimes there are instances where he's super nervous, and you can kind of tell that it's really affecting his vibe.
And it's something that's not naturally there, so I have no problem taking it out. But if you have like a birthmark or something on you, I'm not going to take that out unless you've specifically been like, hey, I don't want this here. I'm not going to do that. Like your style of things, your coloration of everything. Ask your photographer that you're interviewing. Ask them how they edit. Ask them what their style is.
Yes.
That kind of goes back to seeing a full gallery of different lighting situations and stuff. Yeah, ask them how much retouching they're willing to do. Because because like I said, for us personally, if I'm going to do like basic retouching, so I'll take out any blemishes on your face. If there's a white cast underneath your eyes from like the bride's concealer or something, you ladies will know what I'm talking about. But I'll take that out too.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Sure.
Are you going to be doing any retouching for this podcast?
No.
I would appreciate you put a filter on me or something.
No. I'm having a hard enough time figuring out how to make all of this work.
Until we have two angles, two cameras.
It's stressing me out, man. It's stressing me out. I'm doing good with one. Not that I sat in here for, 30 minutes before I hit record on this, trying to make two camera angles work. That's why it's bringing it up. I'll figure it out at some point, but right now this is what we've got, okay?
I love it.
I feel like this kind of brings our first little episode to a close. We ran over. We talked about a lot of different stuff. I'm sorry.
That'll be in the blooper.
Oh no, I'm leaving that in.
Oh, you're leaving
I'm leaving it in.
Leave
That's
it in.
too funny. I'm talking about running an episode. I don't know. Anyway, but yeah. So I think we had a really fun
I think we did have a
chill
real
talk tonight. So yeah, again, you can find us at Engaged in Chaos on Instagram. I'm still in the mix of making all the other platforms, but we definitely have Instagram.
Instagram, TikTok.
Yes, I do have a TikTok.
YouTube is on the way.
YouTube is on the way. Yeah, you can find us there, and you can find our photography page at Autumn & Co Photo on Instagram as well. It's autumnsphotography.com if you want to check us out there. And yeah, we'll see you guys next week. Bye!